What is Hasbro actually doing right now? Sometimes I have to wonder. So I'll admit this video is a little different than I normally do, but you know what? I'm not here for the views. I'm just here to express my opinions on some topics, and this one is just rattling around my head and I wanted to make a video on it. Of course, I'm talking about Hasbro, and it's two concurrent HasLab projects that are asking to be funded right now, and sometimes I just don't understand them. But first, if you do happen to like what we're doing on the channel, think about hitting that like button, as well hitting that subscribe button. We really do appreciate all of your support. Thanks for watching. Now, like I mentioned in the intro, Hasbro currently has two HasLab projects asking to be funded by you, us, the collector, right now. And to me, I can't remember if this has actually happened in the past. I think it has, but I personally think this is kind of a weird thing that they're doing here. And you know what? We're going to discuss that briefly, though, just in case you're new to this idea of HasLab. Just a brief overview of what's on the go right now, so you can make sure you're up to date and understand what I'm going to talk about. So just to make sure you're up to date, let's say on June 30th, I believe, Hasbro announced that there was going to be a new G.I. Joe classified HasLab. It was the fourth one they've done so far, and it turned out to be a G.I. Joe Snowcat. The vehicle is huge. It came with one base figure as part of the base offering, and as stretch goals, there was two more 6-inch G.I. Joe classified figures, as well as a playset. That was it. It basically came to $324 USD. And you know what? It's been a slow burn for that project. Now, those projects normally go on for 45 days. Within that 45 days, San Diego Comic-Con came upon us. And at San Diego Comic-Con, Hasbro announced they're doing a Star Wars Vintage Collection HasLab at the same time. They announced a Vintage Collection Republic Gunship, and that included 2 clone troopers as part of the base offering, 3 3/4 size. Their stretch goals included 3 Jedi figures, so 3 goals with each Jedi in each goal, okay? For a total of $450 USD. Now that's the quick and dirty about both these projects. I didn't want to bore most people with getting into very specific, getting into very detailed information about this, because as a collector, most of us already know about these things, but I just wanted to give an overall highlight on this, okay? So my problem here, Hasbro is turning into one of these companies, I think all companies are like this, where they think you and I as the collector have infinite money. Now, I don't want to get too crazy about this, but let's pretend this circle right here is everyone that collects G.I. Joe classified and is interested in G.I. Joe. The thing is, a good portion of those people would probably be interested and at least seeing what the G.I. Joe classified HasLab has to offer. Let's pretend this circle right here are Star Wars Vintage Collection collectors. Now, there's a good chance those people are really interested in at least seeing the details about the Star Wars HasLab. Now, Hasbro thinks, hey, you know what, guys? These two bases of collectors, they are independent. They each have puddles of money, and you know what? We're good to go. The thing is, the people at Hasbro, now I am not going to pretend that I understand how they come about these HasLab projects, or like how it occurs, what finances it takes to do it, how much level of detail that requires the planning. I don't know any of that, so I apologize. I'm not going to pretend I'm an expert on this, but I do know for a fact, I think there's a pretty good chance that if we take this circle of G.I. Joe classified collectors and this circle of vintage Star Wars collection collectors, I bet you in the middle somewhere, they overlap. There's a portion of G.I. Joe collectors and Star Wars collectors that are interested in both HasLab projects because they want it all. The thing is what these corporations such as Hasbro don't realize is that you and I, collectors, although I've got a bunch of stuff behind me and that I've collected over the years, we don't necessarily have infinite amount of money. We don't have bagfuls of money that just magically appear that we can just go spend on everything that we see. Sometimes we actually have to pick and choose on what we have to buy. So for me, let's talk about G.I. Joe Classified for a second. When a new wave just came out, it had Wetsuit, Mainframe, the Desert Scorpion, a few other guys, Sci-Fi in it. I didn't pre-order the whole wave because I can't afford it. I basically pre-ordered Wetsuit. He was the one guy I was like, you know, I like Wetsuit. I like the divers, so I'm gonna get Wetsuit. That's gonna be my one guy for now, and I'm gonna play the long game, and I'll get some other guys later. Maybe they go on sale. Maybe I can find them pre-owned. We'll see. But the one guy I got, but I didn't pre-order the whole wave. Now, some people out there, they can't afford to pre-order the whole wave, and that's great. But when you have multiple collections like gijoe, Star Wars, and let's just throw Transformers in there, sometimes when everything comes at the same time, it makes it hard to pick it all up. So what happens is, as a normal person, probably with some responsibilities in the real world life, you have to make choices. And this is where these corporations sometimes, they don't get it. They don't get it. That, wait, what do you mean you have to make choices? You want G.I. Joe, you want Star Wars, you gotta have it all. You've got to buy the $324 Snowcat, and as well, can you please back the $450 Gunship? You know, that's only, how much is that? Roughly $834 USD. By the way, I totally didn't just stop this video and do some math on the calculator. No, I did it all in my head, don't worry. So both of these projects are amazing, okay? I think they're great. I think the Snow, if I had to compare both of them, I think the Snowcat is way better value for your money. $324 plus potentially the $30 surcharge for 3 6-inch figures and an absolutely huge vehicle, compared to the vintage collection Gunship, which is $450 American. Who came up with that price? Plus the $30 surcharge is $480 American. It comes with 2 clone troopers. The idea, though, I have to be honest, we're just step away from the actual crazy Hasbro decisions. The idea, though, that they made a Gunship, charged this much money for it, and they never thought to actually include a batch of clone troopers to go in the back to be deployed, or an ATRT to go in the back, blows my mind. Like, how did that happen? I'm just being crazy. You've got 3 random Jedi. They're not random, I understand they have names, but like, you didn't include any clone troopers with this Gunship? What? How is that possible? How do we have a HasLab without any additional clone troopers as a stretch goal? That blows my mind. Anyway, the whole point, this is a long video now, the whole point that I'm getting at is that the G.I. Joe Snowcat has been a slow burn. We're getting like 40, 50 people a day or whatever. It's slowly getting to 8,000. And the thing is, I think by the time you get to the, you know, days 1 left, day 0, you're gonna get your 8,000 easily. It's gonna tick over and you're gonna get your 8,000. The problem is right now with the stretch goal, I personally think, based on previous outings, that it will happen. I think a lot of people are waiting to the end. The problem is, if the optics are there where it's not gonna get your stuff, a lot of people only want to back these HasLabs if they can get all the stretch goals, because that's when it becomes affordable to them. Sometimes these base offerings are not considered affordable. So $324 for just Frostbite in the vehicle, people are gonna back out. So they need those stretch goals, the bivouac and the 2 guys, Flint and Lady J. So hopefully we get it. But my problem is that you're asking people to back this thing and you release the other thing as well. And there's gonna be some crosstalk. There's gonna be a crossover where people are like, oh damn, I'm a Star Wars collector too. And people have to choose. So not everyone can afford to have everything. So this Gunship, maybe they're like, oh, you know, I've always wanted a Gunship and the Snowcat's cool, but like, I don't know if I really would need a Snowcat. I want the Gunship. I'm gonna cancel my order for the Snowcat and I'm gonna go back a Gunship. And my issue is did somebody think that the Snowcat was gonna fund like right away, boom, right out the door, so they wouldn't have to worry about this crossover? Because the dates were always there. Obviously, you're only announcing the Snowcat on June 30th. The Gunship just got announced at San Diego Comic-Con last weekend. So that 45 days was always going to overlap. You can't tell me the higher ups at Hasbro knew this was going to happen. And the fact is, it's kind of just horrible that they think that, hey, just, oh yeah, you've got tons of money. Just in this state of the economy, you've got tons of money. Just buy this plastic please, and just support our company. Like, I understand the idea behind HasLab. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I understand it, that as a business, they don't want to take the risk at putting these things out of retail. They put extra tooling into them. They make them bigger, badder, and more badass or whatever, and they ask you to fund it directly. I understand that, but the idea that as the customer that we just have infinite money and we can back 2 of these at the same time is insanity. And it's not that I don't want these to fund. The Gunship is amazing. The Snowcat is cool. To be honest with you, I don't have the money to buy either of them. I have a original release of the Gunship, and it's one of my all-time favorite vehicles. But the idea that thing's $450 USD out of of the gate blows my mind. I watched one video the other day and a gentleman said, oh, that's a great value because the vintage collection gunship is like $400. So now I get this bigger and badder one for $450. I personally don't think that's a good reason to back this or whatever. I mean, the vintage collection gunship is pretty cool, but because it's $400 in the aftermarket, you're going to pay $450 for one from Hasbro? No, the thing is supposed to be like $150 and they haven't released one in a while. They sat on it or whatever. So there's a lot of ranting on the go here, and it's not that I'm against Hasbro or against HasLab. It's just sometimes maybe it would have been a better idea to space these out, give customers a chance to like, okay, take a break or whatever, because you know what, while this is happening, 2 HasLabs on the go, pre-orders for Transformers and G.I. Joe are starting to show up now as well, because they're shipping them across the ocean and they're like, hey, there's no tariffs right now, push them out guys, push them out. So stuff that was supposed to come out in September, October, hey, it's here now, push it out, push it out, push it out. So people's bills are going crazy for these pieces of plastic. So I just don't understand how people can afford it. I don't think the guys at Hasbro, the CEOs, the people in charge don't understand the average customer, and it's gonna cost them. We're gonna see these HasLab projects, while there's a good chance they probably get back, they're gonna be tight and people are gonna be worried and they're gonna be maybe some cancellation. So this is a long video, but I wanted to put it out there. I wanted to get people's thoughts. So please make sure you leave your comments in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. Is this way too much for Hasbro at the same time? Or are you fine with it? You're like, no, I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer, I have infinite money as well, so I'm good to pay for this all at the same time. So let me know what your thoughts are. To me, I think it's a bit of a blunder. I think they should have been spaced out a bit. And you know what? This is how the world we live in, I guess. The CEOs of Hasbro were like, no, they'll just pay for it. They love this stuff. They don't need to eat. They don't need to pay their mortgage just this month. They'll just pay for it. Anyways, let me know what you think, and make sure you watch either this video or this video here and continue on. Thanks for the support, and we'll see you in the next one.